Okay semua, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon.
Waalaikumsalam.
Okay. Yesterday we have discussed about trigonometric substitution. So any question about trigonometric substitution? Ada soalan?
Boleh tak ulang balik sebab kurang jelas lah
Ada
sebenarnya.
madam.
Okay. Apa kurang jelas?
Boleh tak ulang balik yang trigonometric substitution tu?
Oh, okay. Kita tengok.
Madam, attendance memang tak boleh buat lagi
Macam mana?
Attendance.
Attendant. Saya tak boleh masuk U future, error. You boleh masuk U future?
Saya pun try masuk U future tak boleh juga.
Tak boleh. Saya rasa hari ni mungkin ada problem kot. So attendance saya ambil base daripada my teams lah. Sebab my teams pun ada attendance juga sebenarnya.
Oh, okay.
So my teams ni attendance, siapa yang join dia akan ada tersenarai lah, listed lah dalam attendance tu.
Okay,
Okay.
madam.
Alright. Okay. Okay. Sekejap. Okay kelas, kita recap sikit trigonometric substitution . Okay, so trigonometric substitution, kalau you lihat dalam textbooks ni, dia adalah this is a method that we use trigonometric substitution to solve the integration which involving radical. So apa maksud radical yang kuasa 2 ni? Okay, so these are the radicals which are square root a squared minus u squared, square root a squared plus u squared, and square root u squared minus a squared. Okay, so if we have these radicals, then we can use trigonometric substitution method. So maksud trigonometric substitution method ni adalah kita menggunakan trigonometric function sebagai hukum gantian ataupun sebagai gantian. Okay, so look at this objective. So the objective with trigonometric substitution is to eliminate the radical in the integrand. So this is the reason why we use trigonometric substitution. So kalau kita tak gunakan method ini, so kita susah untuk selesaikan masalah yang berkaitan dengan punca kuasa 2 yang macam ni. Okay, so this is the reason why we use trigonometric substitution. Okay, actually it is based on this identity. Okay, so dalam trigonometric substitution ni ada beberapa identity yang kita akan gunakan lah. So yang you lihat ni, 3 identity yang utama yang kita akan gunakan. Okay, so each identity is based on the trigonometric substitution. Okay, we have cosine squared theta equal to 1 minus sin squared theta, secant squared theta equal to 1 plus tangent squared theta, tangent squared theta equal to secant squared theta minus 1. So ini akan kita gunakan untuk kita selesaikan radical yang diberikan. Okay, so katalah you punya integral tak ada melibatkan radical ni. So tak perlulah guna trigonometric substitution. You boleh guna any method that's suitable with the problem. Okay. Faham ya? Ada soalan tak atas ni?
Faham, madam.
Faham Okay, good. Okay, so kita tengok example kecil sikit kat sini. So for example, for A greater than 0. So A is always greater than 0. Okay, so the minimum value for A is 1. So maknanya A ini mesti lebih besar daripada kosong. Okay, so dia tak akan jadi negatif lah. Dia sentiasa positif. Okay, so let U is A sin theta, where the theta is negative pi over 2 to pi over 2. Then, square root A squared minus U squared, it is equivalent with square root A squared minus A squared sin squared theta. Okay, sebab ini kita gantikan U dengan A sin theta. So macam mana exercise ni? You just gantikan saja. Masukkan saja U kepada gantian yang baru iaitu A sin theta. So, you masukkan A squared, so U squared. So, U squared maksudnya adalah U squared it is equivalent with A sin theta to the power of 2. So, bila you expand A squared, you akan dapat A squared. Sin theta squared, you akan dapat sin squared theta. Ataupun sin theta squared pun sama je erti dia. Okay. Right, so you masukkan dalam radical. Okay, so this one we can simplify by taking A squared outside. Then we have square root A squared times 1 minus sin squared theta. Okay, so yang ini kita boleh gunakan identity yang tertera dekat dalam ni. Okay, so 1 sin squared theta, the identity is this one. So here we can say that 1 sin squared theta is cosine squared theta. This one. Okay, so now we have this one so that we can solve for this radical. So square root A squared cosine squared theta, it is equivalent with A cosine theta. Okay, so here we can say that square root A squared minus U squared is A cosine theta. Okay, and the cosine theta is greater than or equal to 0 because the theta in terms of negative pi over 2, 2 pi over 2. So, maknanya dia punya sudut negative pi over 2. Yang mana? Negative pi over 2. Pi over 2 is 40 degrees kan? 45 ke? 90 degrees. Okay, so yang ini dia daripada sini ke sini. Okay, daripada sini ke sini, daripada negatif pi over 2 to pi over 2. Begitulah, lebih kurang Alright, so ini ada 3 substitution. Kita ada 3 je untuk trigonometric substitution for A greater than 0 or A is always positive. The first one, if we have this one, square root A squared minus U squared. So the substitution here is U equal to A sin theta. So the diagram is like this. Okay, ini diagram dia lah. So the diagram is based on this one. Sin theta equal to U over A. So bila sin, you tahulah sin is opposite over hypotenuse. So our hypotenuse is the longest length here is A. And for opposite, this length is about U. So therefore, based on theorem Pythagoras, this length it is about square root A squared minus with U squared. Okay, so dia punya measurement ataupun dia punya length ini adalah berdasarkan theorem Pythagoras. Okay. Super juga dengan yang ni, number 2. If we have this radical, which is square root A squared plus U squared. So the trigonometric substitution here is this one. U equal to A tangent theta. Okay, so maknanya bila radical yang macam ni, A squared plus U squared. So the trigonometric substitution is this one. U equal to A tangent theta. So you can draw the right angle triangle based on this substitution, which is tangent theta equivalent with U over A. Okay, so we understood that U here is opposite and A here is adjacent. Okay. So opposite is length and adjacent is length. So therefore our hypotenuse is square root A squared plus U squared. Okay. Macam tu. And the last one, if we have this radical square root U squared minus A squared, then the trigonometric substitution here is U equal to A secant theta. Okay. So you can draw a diagram that based on secant theta equal to U over A. So, bila secant theta ni maksudnya adalah 1 over cos. So, 1 over cos. So, secant theta, it is about, dia adalah, kalau cosine, adjacent over hypotenuse. So, kalau secant dia terbalik. Sebab dia 1 over cos. So, yang atas ni adalah adjacent. Bukan hypotenuse. Yang bawah ni adalah adjacent. Okay, so the hypotenuse is U, adjacent is A. So therefore this length is about square root U squared minus A squared. Okay, so faham ya? Right, so this is how we apply trigonometric substitution to solve the integration which involving radicals. Okay, any question? Tak ada. So kalau
No
enough,
question, madam.
tak ada. Okay, very good. So you can look at this example. Okay, this example. Alright, so we have this radical. So this radical, it is equivalent with a squared minus 3 squared. 3 squared minus x squared. Okay, so dia gantikan x dengan a sin theta. X equals to 3 sin theta. So bila you dah ada gantian dx x 3 sin theta, so next step you need to differentiate. Differentiate respect to x respect derivative respect to x derivative respect to theta on 3 sin theta. You differentiate je. So differentiate you akan dapat 3 cosine theta d theta. Okay, so these two components are very important to use for transform from x term into theta terms. Okay, faham eh? So mana yang ada x tu you gantikanlah dengan 3 sin theta. Kalau x kuasa 2, it is about 9 sin squared theta. Okay, multiply with this radical. So radical ni dalam textbook ni dia dah shortcut lah. Okay, dia dah short. Dia radical yang macam kita buat tadi tu yang atas tu, which is square root 9 minus x squared equivalent with square root 9 minus kita punya x apa? 3 sin theta to the power of 2. And then you selesaikan, then at the end of the day we have this one, 3 cosine theta. Okay? Faham ya? Okay, you masukkan je dalam ni, substitute, and then you simplify, and then we use trigonometric identity, and then we apply cosecant rule. Okay, cosecant rule, and at the end of the day we transform back into original terms, which is x. You masukkan nilai x dan seterusnya. Okay, faham? Macam ni kan jawapan dia lah cotangent. So cotangent it is about adjacent over opposite. So daripada mana you nak dapat ni? Daripada diagram yang ini. Okay, daripada diagram yang ini. So how to draw this diagram? It is based on the substitution, which is s equals to 3 sin theta. So sin theta it is equivalent with x over 3. So x is opposite and 3 is hypotenuse. Okay, so we have 3 here, x here. So therefore this length is the square root 9 minus x squared. So kalau dia nak cotangent theta, so cotangent theta cari jawapan dalam ni lah, which is adjacent over opposite. So it is equivalent with our adjacent is adjacent square root 9 minus x squared over opposite x. So kita dapat jawapan ni lah. Okay, faham?
Faham.
Okay, very good.
Faham,
So kalau
madam.
faham, okay, good. So kalau faham, kita boleh tengok soalan exercise. Dah try buat dah? Okay. Saya besarkan sikit. Okay, so this is exercise 5 to 8. Find the indefinite integral using substitution x equals to 4 sin theta. Okay, so this exercise, the substitution has been mentioned, which is x is 4 sin theta. So this one you just enter this substitution, you gantikan dan you selesaikan. Okay, alright. So mana yang dapat boleh check jawapan. So number 6. Okay, so we have this one. Okay, we have integral 4 over x squared to the power of 16 minus x dx. Okay, so kita punya substitution tadi adalah x equals to 4 sin theta. Okay, so macam mana part 4 sin theta? It is based on this one lah. Okay, tak jauh sikit ni. Square root 19 minus x. It is actually is about 4 squared minus 4 squared minus x. Dia ada kuasa 2 kan? Yeah, we have power of 2. Tinggal kat situ. Kuasa 2 kat sini. Okay, 4 squared minus x squared. So, actually it is about a squared minus u squared. So, the substitution here is x equals to a sin theta. Okay. In fact, dia dah bagi tahu kan, x is 4 sin theta. So, you just use this substitution and solve. Alright, so back to this one. So, solve for this radical, which is 19 minus x squared. It is equivalent. Okay, so before we solve for radical, kita selesaikan untuk x tu. X tak selesai lagi tu. Kita kena differentiate. Okay, so derivative respect to theta on x. Kita differentiate respect to theta on x. So here we have 4 cosine theta. So dx is 4 cosine theta d theta. So dalam substitution yang penting adalah yang ini dan juga yang ini. Okay, sebab nanti you nak substitute kan. Alright, so kita selesaikan untuk radical. So this radical we have square root 9 is 16 minus x squared. It is equivalent with square root 16 minus x squared. So our x is 4 sin theta. 4 sin theta to the power of 2. So it is equivalent with square root 19. So 4 squared we have 16. So 16. So sin theta power of 2 we have sin squared theta. Next step, simplify. So we have 16 times 1 minus sin squared theta. So 1 minus sin squared theta, based on the identity, cosine squared theta equals to 1 minus sin squared theta. Okay, so kita gunakan identity yang ni dan kita dapat 16 cosine squared theta. So this one we can solve it. Then we have 4 cosine theta. So therefore the radical 16 minus x squared is 4 cosine theta. Okay, so next step kita integrate. So hence the integral of 4 over x squared square root 16 minus x squared dx. It is equivalent with the integral of 4 over x squared. So x kita ambil tadi tu. Ni, okay, x kuasa 2. So here we have 4 sin theta to the power of 2. Okay, multiply with radical. So radical is this one. You just masukkan. Then we have 4 cosine theta. dx, our dx is this one. Okay, kita gunakan semua ini adalah proses kita tukarkan x kepada theta terms. Daripada x term kepada theta term. So multiply with 4 cosine theta d theta. Alright, so next kita selesaikan. Ni yang boleh simplify, boleh cancel out. So you can do it. Okay, so this one we have 4 cosine theta. So the down here we have 4 cosine theta also. Then here we have integral 4 over 16 sin squared theta d theta. Okay, sin squared theta. Alright, so it is also equivalent with 1 over 4. 1 over sin squared theta is cosecant. Cosecant squared theta d theta. Okay. Cosecant squared theta. Okay, so integral of cosecant. Alamak kecil pula. Table of integration. Dia ada kat belakang buku tu sebenarnya. Oh, tak nampak. Okay, saya integrate for cosecant squared dapat apa? Cosecant. Cosecant. Tak jumpa. Okay. Identity dia. Ni dapat tak jawapan cosecant squared? 1 over sin squared cosecant squared. Itu sebab cotangent. Sekejap. Ni dapat jawapan apa?
Madam.
Yep.
Saya dapat negatif cot theta.
Negatif cot theta kan? Betul tu jawapan dia. Cuma kita nak tahu identiti yang you gunakan. You guna identiti ke direct? Of integration.
Direct.
Okay. I want to show you the direct integration Table of integration. Dia sebenarnya dekat table of integration. Macam mana you boleh dapat jawapan tu? Cuma ni kat mana table tu? Ya, okay. Integral cosecant squared. Okay. I nak tunjuk you yang ini. This one So cosecant ni kita jarang guna. So kita boleh tengok dekat sini number 15. So integrate for cosecant squared theta, it is equivalent with negative cotangent theta. Okay, negative cotangent theta. Right? So the answer here is 1 over 4 times negative cotangent theta plus C. Okay. So ini jawapan dia. Dapat tak? Okay, ada soalan sekat ni? Dapat So this is the step. Okay, first we identify the substitution and then we need to differentiate to transform the x into the theta. Okay, so this is the process and then we solve for this radical and we have this one. So untuk selesaikan integration tu, you transform all x term into theta terms. So how to transform or change x term into theta terms? We just insert for the substitution. Okay, so dia kata x kuasa 2, so maknanya dia adalah 4 sin the whole thing to the power of 2. And for this radical, we have solved it, then we have 4 cosine theta, then you enter in the integration. Okay, integral. So selesaikan dan you akan dapat jawapan dia. Alright? Okay. Ada soalan untuk yang ni? Tak ada Okay, so kalau tak ada kita tengok back to this one. Soalan number. Okay, kejap. Trigonometric substitution. Substitution. Ya Allah. Sekejap ya, saya nak pergi kepada page yang tadi tu. Integration by parts. Point. Tak boleh ni. Dah lupa. Okay, so next number 12. Okay, we solve for this one, integral x to the power of 3 over square root x squared minus 25, and the substitution here is 5 secant theta. It is equivalent with x. Okay, so number 12. So we have integral x to the power of 3 over square root x squared minus 25. X squared minus 25 dx. Okay, the substitute here is 5 secant theta. So x equals to 5 secant theta. Okay, so differentiate, then kita akan dapat 5 secant theta. So bila you differentiate akan dapat 5 secant theta. X equals to 5 secant theta. 5 secant theta tangent theta. Tangent theta d theta. Okay. Right, so we use this substitution. So solve for radical. So x squared minus 25, it is equivalent with square root 5 secant theta to the power of 2 minus 25. So here we have 25 secant squared theta minus 25. Okay, so simplify secant squared theta minus 1. So this one equivalent with 25 tangent theta. 25 tangent theta. So the radical is 5 tangent squared, tangent squared. 5 tangent theta. So therefore, square root x squared minus 25 is 5 tangent theta. Alright, so next. Masukkanlah dalam integral tu, integration tu. Okay, dx. So, gantikan je. So, x kita tadi adalah 5 secant theta. So, we have 5 secant theta. 5 secant theta to the power of 3 over, yang ni you just ambil je 5 tangent theta. Okay, so this one 5 tangent theta dx. So dx you ambil ni. Okay, 5 secant theta tangent theta d theta. 5 secant theta tangent theta d theta. Okay. Right, so this one we can simplify 5 tangent theta. Yang ni 5 tangent theta. Alright, so now we have 5 power of 3. So 5 power of 3 is 125. So we have 125 secant power of 3. Power of 3 multiply with this one. So you akan dapat secant to the power of 4. Kan? Secant to the power of 4 theta d theta. Alright, so this one we use trigonometric integral where we need to split secant squared. Okay. So it is equivalent with 125. Split yang ini. Secant to the power of 4 theta. It is equivalent with 125. Secant squared theta times secant squared theta d theta. Okay. Right. So yang ini you kena guna identity. So identity for secant squared theta. It is equal to tangent squared theta plus 1. Okay. So masukkanlah dalam ni. Tangent squared theta plus 1 times secant squared theta d theta. So next we substitute. So let u is tangent theta and du is secant squared theta d theta. Okay. Right. So substitute secant tangent into u. So here we have u squared plus 1. So secant squared theta d theta is a du. So you substitute je. Okay. So next integrate 1 to 5. So here we have u to the power of 3 over 3 plus u plus c. Okay, so it is equivalent with 125 over 3. So our u is tangent. So we have tangent to the power of 3 theta plus u. So u is a tangent theta plus c. Okay, so tadi atas tadi tu terlupa nak gantikan balik dalam x. So untuk yang ini kita nak gantikan semula dalam x terms. Alright, color lah. Okay, so tadi kita dah substitute x equals to 5 secant theta. So maknanya secant theta equals to x over 5. Okay, x over 5. So this one is about hypotenuse and this one is adjacent. Okay, so the diagram. The diagram, so x is hypotenuse, so this is x. This one is 5. So this length is about x squared minus 5 squared. Yeah. Okay. Alright. So tangent theta. So you ambil daripada sini tangent theta. Based on this one. Tangent theta sama juga dengan 5 over this root. Tangent theta equivalent with 5 over square root x squared minus 25. Okay. So you masukkanlah kat sini. So 125 over 3. Tangent theta power of 3. So this means that 5 over square root x squared minus 25 to the power of 3. And then plus 5 over square root x squared minus 25 plus c. Okay, so this is the answer. Right, so therefore, the integral of apa soalan ni tadi tu? X kuasa 3 Therefore, x to the power of 3 over x squared minus 25 dx, it is equivalent with this one. Okay, dapat jawapan? This one in terms of x. So, jawapan akhir you mesti dalam sebutan x. Okay, boleh? Boleh? Ada soalan?
Boleh, tak ada.
Tak ada. Okay, so kalau tak ada, kita tengok yang seterusnya, number 14. So 14 is about x tangent theta. Substitute tangent theta into x. So the question here is integral 9x to the power of 3 over square root 1 plus x to the power of 2 respect to x. Okay, so we solve for this one. Number 14, we have integral 9x to the power of 3 over square root 1 plus x power of 2 dx. Okay, so our x is tangent theta. Tangent theta. Okay, so differentiate. Then we have tangent theta. We differentiate respect to theta on x. We have secant squared theta. D theta. Okay, so substitute dia ni. This one. Into the integral. Okay, so before we solve for the integration, we solve for this radical first. So square root 1 plus x squared. It is equivalent with square root 1 plus tangent theta to the power of 2. Okay, so here we have 1 plus tangent squared theta. Okay, so 1 plus tangent squared theta based on the identity, it is about secant squared theta. So we solve for this one, secant squared theta, square root of secant squared theta, kita akan dapat secant theta. So therefore, the radical 1 plus x squared is secant theta. Okay, so kita gantikan ni dalam integral part. Okay, so next, so hence, integral 9x to the power of 3 over square root 1 plus x squared dx, it is equivalent with integral 9 x tangent to the power of 3 theta over square root ni, you ambil jawapan dia secant theta multiply with dx. So dx is this one, secant squared theta d theta. Okay, so this one you can simplify and we have a secant theta up here. Okay, so 9 tu you boleh buat keluar lah. So 9 times integral of tangent cube theta times secant theta d theta. Alright class, so this one we use trigonometric integral. Yeah, you kena split tu. Power of tangent and secant involving product powers of tangent and secant, trigonometric integral. Okay, so sekarang kita punya tangent E odd. So what we need to do here is kita bawa keluar, kita kena faktorkan tangent secant kan. So if the power of tangent is odd, so we need to split of a factor of tangent secant. Okay, so since we have a secant here, so we just factor for tangent. Macam tu. Okay, so kita akan dapat tangent to the power of 3 theta times tangent theta secant theta d theta. The key dekat sini adalah kalau power bagi tangent odd, apa yang you kena ada dalam tu adalah tangent secant. Tangent secant. Right? So kata kalau dalam kes ni, we just factor for tangent. Then we have a tangent secant. Buat dulu Okay. Mana tadi kita? Ni Alright. So next apa kita kena buat adalah this one. Apply relevant identity. So identity for tangent squared is secant squared minus 1. Okay, secant squared theta minus 1. Okay, so the identity for tangent squared theta dia ni Okay, so we have tangent theta, secant theta, d theta. Alright, so next, apa kita kena buat lah let u. Okay. So let u is secant theta. And then you differentiate, then we have secant theta, tangent theta, d theta. Okay. Alright. So 9 u squared minus 1. Tangent theta, secant theta is a du. And then you just integrate. Integrate, then you have 9 over 3 u to the power of 3 minus 9 over 2 u power of 2 plus c. Okay. So it is also equivalent with kita punya u tadi apa? Secant kan? Kita punya u secant theta. So here we have 3 secant to the power of 3 theta minus 9 over 2 secant squared theta plus c. Alright. So next tadi substitute ni kita punya x tangent theta. Okay, so x tangent theta. Jadi you punya diagram dia akan jadi macam ni lah. So this is our theta. So tangent theta is x. So maknanya yang dekat sini satu lah. This one is x. So this one is x squared plus 1. Okay, so for secant theta berapa? Based on this diagram, secant theta in terms of x secant theta 1 over cos. So cos is this one over this one. So bila secant dia terbalik lah. So we have square root x squared plus 1. Okay, over 1. So over 1 is equivalent with square root x squared plus 1. So you just masukkan dalam ni. So we have 3 square root x squared plus 1 to the power of 3 minus 9 over 2 square root x squared plus 1, the whole thing to the power of 2. Okay, so this one you can solve. Then here we have 3 square root x squared plus 1 to the power of 3 minus 9 over 2 square root x squared plus 1 plus c. Okay, so this is the answer. Therefore, the integral of x 9x cubed 9x to the power of 3 over square root 1 plus x squared ke sama je sebenarnya. 1 plus x squared. 1 plus x squared dx equivalent with this answer. Okay. Dapat tak jawapan ni? Kelas boleh jawab? Boleh buat? Khairunisa, okay, boleh?
Boleh Puan.
Okay. Yang lain boleh? Ideal? Ideal ada tak ni? Ideal.
Okay, Puan.
Okay, good. Alright, ada soalan tak untuk trigonometric substitution? Jelas Okay, so ada banyak banyak latihan ni you boleh buat boleh buat. Okay, so kita ambil satu 42 kita ambil 42. Okay, 42. Right, so next number 42. Okay, 42. 42. So the integral is 1 over 1 minus t squared 1 minus t squared to the power of 5 over 2 respect to t, dt, and the interval here is 0 to sec3 over 2. 0 to sec3 over 2. So this one is a definite integral because we have limit. Okay, so our t in between 0 to sec3 over 2. Okay. Alright, so kalau nak tukarkan ke dalam theta, nanti kita akan tengok. Okay, so first of all, we need to identify the substitution. Okay, so ni apa substitution dia? Let t equivalent with 1 minus t squared. This one yang atas ni. Sin theta. So ganti dia adalah sin theta. So our A here is 1. So t equal to sin theta. Sin theta. So kita differentiate respect to theta. So we have we have cosine theta d theta. Okay, so ini kita punya limit dalam sebutan t. So what about if we want to change it into theta? Alright. So cara dia adalah let t equal to 0. Okay. So sin theta equal to 0. Okay, sin theta equal to 0 sebab kita ambil ni. T equal to sin theta. Okay, so now kita nak cari theta. Bila nak cari theta, kita move sin to the other side. Dia akan jadi sin inverse. Sin inverse of 0. So sin inverse of 0 is, you just plug in your calculator. Sin inverse 0, you akan dapat 0. Okay, 0. Right, so means that if t equal to 0, so theta equal to 0. So next we look at the upper limit. So the upper limit of t is sec3 over 2. Okay, so our theta is sine inverse of t, which is sec3 over 2. Okay, so you just plug in your calculator. Sec3 sine inverse sec3 over 2. So pi over 3. So therefore, if t is sec3 over 2, then theta is pi over 3. Okay, so that the limit in theta is 0 to pi over 3. Okay, so means that you no need to change back into t terms. Okay, you can evaluate it directly. Okay. Right, so back to this one. So solve yang ini. So 1 minus t squared to the power of 5 over 2. It is means that square root 1 minus t squared, the whole thing to the power of 5. Okay. So bila berlaku keadaan macam ni, apa yang kena buat adalah you kena selesaikan yang ini dulu. Kemudian baru you kuasakan 5. Okay. So we solve for this radical. Of this one, square root 1 minus t squared. So here we have 1 minus t. Kita punya t sin. So t squared is a sin squared theta. So it is equivalent with square root. Letak bawah lah. Mana yang tak sempat buat tu boleh buat sama-sama dengan saya ya. Buat sekali. So identity for 1 minus sin squared theta is a cosine squared theta. Okay, so solve for this one, then we have cosine theta. So therefore, square root 1 minus t squared is cosine theta. Okay, so hence untuk yang ini, dia adalah cosine theta to the power of 5, kuasa 5. Sama juga dengan cosine to the power of 5 theta. Okay, right, this one. So dalam integration nanti, you just masukkan this one lah, yang ini. Sebab kita dah selesaikan untuk yang bawah ni Alright, so kita selesaikan. Okay, so hence Ni boleh katakan atas tu tadi apa? 1. Okay, so 1 over 1 minus t squared to the power of 5 over 2 dt with the limit 0 to sec 3 over 2. Sec 3 over 2. It is equivalent with the integral 1 over this one. Kita selesaikan jawapan yang ni cosine to the power of 5 theta. Cosine to the power of 5 theta. So d theta dt. So our dt is this one. Ini masukkan je. Cosine theta d theta. Cosine theta d theta. And the limit in theta is this one. 0 to pi over 3. Okay, 0 to pi over 3. 0 to pi over 3. Okay, so kita selesaikan yang untuk sebelah kiri, left hand side, right hand side belah kanan theta, in terms of theta. So this one we can simplify, then we have 1 over cosine power of 4 theta. So here we have 1 over cosine to the power of 4 theta d theta, where the theta here is 0 to pi over 3. Okay, so we have 1 over cosine to the power of 4 means that it is equivalent with apa? Cosine 1 over cosine secant. Secant to the power of 4 theta d theta 0 to pi over 3. So selesaikan. Ini repeat macam tadi tu. Secant square theta d theta 0 to pi over 3. Oh my goodness. Okay. Selesaikan, solve for integral secant to the power of 4 theta d theta. Okay. So apply identity. It is about tangent square theta plus 1 secant square theta d theta. So kita gunakan let u tangent theta. So du is secant square theta d theta. Okay, so here we have u squared plus 1. Secant square theta d theta is a du. Okay, so it is equivalent with u to the power of 3 over 3 plus u plus c. Okay, and it is equivalent with, sama juga dengan tangent to the power of 3 theta over 3 plus tangent theta over tangent theta. U is a tangent theta. Boleh ikut ke kelas?
Boleh.
Boleh
Boleh, madam.
Okay, very good. You tangent cube theta. So, you boleh masukkan kat sini lah jawapan dia, which is this one, tangent cube theta over 3 plus tangent, tangent apa tadi? Tangent theta with the limit 0 to pi over 3. So, you selesaikan lah. Okay, so apa limit tangent to the power of 3 pi over 3 plus tangent pi over 3 minus tangent 0 is 0, kan? Betul? Masukkan kosong. So we have 0. So jawapan dia you akan dapat tangent pi over 3. Tangent pi over 3. Set 3. You akan dapat set 3 to the power of 3 Kuasa 3. Kuasa 3, we have C set 3 over 3. So, you akan dapat jawapan dekat sini set 3. Double check And then plus with tangent pi over 3. Tangent pi over 3. Ni you just calculate. We have set 3. So, the answer here is, jawapan dia adalah 2 set 3. 2 set 3. In decimal places, we have 3.4641. Dapat tak kelas jawapan dia ni? 2 set 3 ataupun 3.4641. This is the answer. Okay. So, katalah you nak guna U pula. You nak terus direct, tak nak back to theta. You tukarkan macam tadi. Kalau kita dah gantikan kan, if theta is 0, so U apa dia? Kalau theta pi over 3, then what is the value of U? Macam tu. Okay, at the end of the day, you akan dapat jawapan yang sama. Alright? Boleh ya? Ada soalan? Okay, great. Okay, so next, yang ni you boleh buat Boleh buat sendiri. Okay, boleh. Right. Okay, ada apa-apa soalan nak tanya berkenaan dengan trigonometric substitution, trigonometric substitution? Any question? Tak ada. Right, so untuk odd number ni ada jawapan kat belakang. So, you boleh buat dan tengok jawapan dia. Okay, you check. Kalau you tak sure, you boleh tanya saya. Okay. Alright, so we have done about trigonometric substitution. So, untuk next class, next week you cuti kan? So, after break, we continue on the last topic in chapter 1, which is integration using partial fraction. Okay? Right, so sebelum kita akhiri kelas kita, ada soalan tak?
Puan,
Yes.
boleh tak nak minta link recording video?
Link recording YouTube. Yang tu you kena tunggu. Kalau you nak yang My Teams, saya boleh bagi as soon as possible lah. Kalau untuk YouTube, you kena tunggu dulu lah. Sebab saya nak kena, ada certain thing yang saya nak kena edit macam tu.
Oh, kalau yang puan record dekat Teams pun tak ada masalah untuk buat study balik.
Boleh. Tak ada masalah. Cuma you kena masuk melalui My Teams lah. Macam tu. Nanti saya share link untuk My Teams. Okay?
Okay, baik.
Alright. Okay, yang lain ada soalan?
Tak ada
Tak
puan.
ada. Tak ada. Alright, so kalau tak ada, that's all for today. So if you have any question, just tanya je. Tak ada masalah. Okay? Alright, so with that, thank you and Assalamualaikum.
Terima kasih puan.
Sama-sama.
Terima kasih.
Bye.